Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Ultima Final Fantasy, the ultimate Final Fantasy podcast. I am Joe.
I'm Caleb.
And today we are bringing you kind of a bonus review because we do not have to do these as part of our list. This is the bonus DLC upgrade content for Final Fantasy VII Remake, specifically episode intermission.
Yeah. So if you couldn't tell by the oversized title of this episode, it's kind of a clusterfuck with this name thing going on here. Like, I don't know what it is, like what their defect is with naming things, but it is profound in this company. Like,
I think it has something to do with the fact that it's Japanese and then it's translated over here.
You think so?
Yeah, and maybe things get a little bit muddied up between games being announced and games being released.
Yeah, I mean...
'Cause I remember this thing being called Episode Yuffie. Like, I swear to God. But then, apparently that's not the title.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe. I don't know why they call Resident Evil, but I mean, going from Biohazard to Resident Evil, maybe there is some fucking crazy translation wall that must be leapt. Although the weird part about that one is Biohazard is also an English word, so...
Yeah.
It probably was an English word first, and it's one of those ones, like, with German, it's Das Computer. You just, like, make it sound German. It's like a word that came out after the language died.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what the fuck the problem is, but it's insanity, this thing. And then, like, you know, all the rage that you had on Nude Clan a while ago about, like, trying to actually open the game. Like, I get, because it's so long. The name is so fucking long on this thing that, like, the PS5 is just like, don't worry about the rest of it. It's like, the name's super long. It's just Final Fantasy.
Reminded me of that shit.
Yeah.
It was so long ago.
Yeah. It's too much.
It is too much. Because when I got my PS5, I was looking for Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. Or Yuffie. No, I was looking for episode Yuffie. I can't remember the exact order. I bitched about this on Nude Clan, though. I ended up accidentally, because of the PlayStation Store's like layout, honestly, and my confusion about the title put together, I accidentally bought the soundtrack for episode Yuffie, which I honestly don't have that many thoughts for. So we get to that part. Ironically, I paid an extra $20 for that. And I also accidentally bought the art book. All before buying what I actually needed to buy. Yeah. Which was the PS5 upgrade of Final Fantasy VII Remake for the PS4.
Yeah, even the name in the store, like, I'm surprised someone at PlayStation was like, wait a minute, what are you going to call it? Like, no. People are not going to understand what the fuck you're talking about. You can't say Final Fantasy VII Remake upgrade to PS5 or something simple, not like Final Fantasy VII Remake for PS5 for PS4.
And then you went through the fuckery of getting the memory card shit over.
Yeah.
Oh my God. There's no like X to select, like you've selected something. It's just there. And I'm like this, there's a screen. So there's a screen where you have to transfer data. You have to go into your PS4 version of FF7 Remake, and you have to like pull data from it in order to like open up your previous game, which I thought I had to do. Of course, you don't have to do it all in order to play this thing we're about to review today.
Yeah.
And on the screen, when I went to like select my memory thing, like you select it and then you see all the things open, but there's no like little written thing anywhere that says like
press X
to continue or something like. So I was like, you gonna give me an option here or what? Am I just gonna? That other screen was also a pain in the ass. So I really had some issues just trying to get this thing, and it's not. Just didn't need to be that hard. Special thanks to Square Enix and the PlayStation 5 store for making that a dick.
Yeah, and then I thought you were just an idiot for all of that. But then when I borrowed the PS5, it took me like 10 minutes to actually find the 7 thing because I kept opening the fucking art
I
book.
told you that was the first.
I'm like, where the fuck is anything on this console? Because like the PS5's UI is dog shit. Like it's so fucking bad. The interface is just trash. It's like it's just a little icon that has a 7 remake, and then of course the 7 remake's title is like a fucking novella in itself.
It treats it as a folder.
Yeah.
And the most
not.
previous file that you opened up is the defaulted file.
Yeah, and of course, because
It's
Joe,
so stupid.
because fuckbag here opened up the fucking art book. He
Because you
keeps
can't just
opening
put
the art
like
book.
a few icons, just like in another line. Because it's not like 90% of the PS5 UI is white space, which
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
You could definitely put a few little icons there just to make the navigation make sense. I don't know. Oh, press the 3 little buttons on the side. You didn't understand that choice?
No, not
I
not
bitched
right away.
about it on the episode before you borrowed the PS5. You could have just remembered.
I know. I remembered the transfer thing. But I thought that part I just blocked out because I was like, yeah, he's probably just on tilt. He's already pissed, so this one is not going to be a problem. But yeah, it took me. I don't even remember how I found it. It's like
That's how I found out I accidentally got the art book. Was the first time.
Yeah.
Because
Where's all my money?
I think I downloaded my old game, so there was already a Final Fantasy VII Remake in there or something like that. I don't remember. No, I don't think that is true. I think I actually had to go get the art book first or something like that. I got the art book, like I bought the fucking Intergrade art book, and I kept on like trying to open my game after I had definitely installed the game. I remember it took me a second to figure out how to install the game. I don't remember the order of this shit because everything went wrong. Every single step of the way on get this stupid thing installed went wrong for me. But yeah, I kept on like going back and like, that's my FF7. Look, it says FF7 Intergrade. And I kept on like opening the fucking art book, opening the art book. And I had to Google like, why the fuck won't it open? And someone else had the same problem basically and said, you got to press the 3 little dots on the side.
Yeah.
And it'll give you a sub menu. It's like, oh yeah, thanks PS5. It's PS5. So it was like PS5 is twirling its mustache right now because it did get me to spend $40 extra in their store.
Yeah, on a game that we already bought before, and like
the art book for this.
Because you bought the upgrade too, right? Because we thought we needed the upgrade, but we don't actually need the upgrade.
I don't know what we need. I'm totally confused now. I can't give a guide to these people anymore. My brain is fried from that whole experience.
You just gotta move on.
I just know that it's in my stuff, not touching it. And I know I just pressed the 3 little dots on the side next to the name Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I'll be able to pick whether or not I actually play Final Fantasy VII Remake, play the soundtrack to Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, play the art book for Final Fantasy VII Intergrade, or play like the PS4 version of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, dude, it's too much.
The fuckery on the PS5 menu is something
and even
strong.
Even with the dots thing, I still think it's shit. Like the PS4 UI is way good. It's like
PS4 UI is a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, all your most recent stuff, like the PS5, is there, but it's the actual game, and if you want anything extra, you can like put it into a folder. Like, dude, I still don't really know how to quickly turn the console off. Like, I think I found it one time.
You press the PlayStation button in the middle, and you just select power off. And it's on the very bottom of the screen, very small print.
Okay, I thought there was something like... I feel like such a boomer with this fucking PS5 because it's so dog shit. But like from now on, what I've been doing the last 2 weeks, because I got my PS5 too, by the way, guys. So
I had a hand clap drop for you.
I finally made it. I've just been logging out because on the log-on screen there's a little power thing, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like... But it's like it reminds me of the Dissidia replay thing. Like, it's just, I find myself in this scenario all the time and I don't quite know how to get out of it. I just muddle my way through. It's like a sewer level in an RPG. Like, I don't really know where to go. I just keep going until I find it.
It's so bad, but the startup is so fast on that PS5. That is beautiful.
I know,
it's
yeah.
Just like, bam, I could be in... We play Resident Evil for Nude Clan, and I can just be in there instantly, basically.
Yeah, and like you save the game, and it's like, all right, game saved, go. It's like, I'm like, whoa.
Whoa, bro.
You're sure you're done? Sure it's not going to delete my file?
Someone's going to play this back like 10 years from now. Like, you guys thought the PS5 was fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next one, like 2 down the road.
I'm sure we have old episodes where we're like, man, the PS4 is such a good machine.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, now we're...
Before it started, like, having fan problems, overheating on games.
Yeah.
For mine, it'll sometimes overheat when I'm playing a DVD for some reason. Like, it doesn't like the discs. I don't know what the fuck's going on there.
It's that thermal paste, I think. I have some.
It's not, I mean, it'll just, like, freeze when I'm on a DVD, and I have no idea why.
Oh.
I guess it's not overheating.
Yeah,
but it starts to get hot after it's been frozen for a bit. Like, it's like, I don't know how to play this format that I've been playing fine for years. It's a DVD. It's a goddamn Seinfeld DVD. You can do this. It's not even like a HD Blu-ray. Like,
yeah, we're not asking for much power here.
No. Okay, we can actually get into the game, I guess. By the way, could we also have a moment of silence for the Mana series that we're not touching ever again? Okay, thank you very much. Those at home, I hope you felt the power of that.
I think it's hilarious because I know a bunch of people, namely Abrac, is like, I really don't.
I know
a bunch of Abrac. He is like, I just don't care about Mana at all. And then we spend not only forever
half of our lives on Mana.
And then we also, the next episode, the first non-Mana episode, takes us like 2 months to come out with, even though it's like 6 hours long.
Yeah, so about that, I moved.
Yeah.
Since recording or before we recorded the last one? I can't remember.
Before. Or no, since.
Since, okay.
Yeah.
Shit.
I know. I know.
Yeah, I moved down into southern Utah, so every time I drive up here, it's 6 hours of driving, 3 hours up, 3 hours back, and I usually stay at my sister's house, and I usually grab food on the way, so every trip is costing me like $150, $200.
Jeez, really?
Yeah, between the food and the driving. If it was just the driving, gas station food, which is always expensive.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And I usually grab, like, pretty much every gas station I stop by, grab, like, some pistachios. That's, like, and that's kind of expensive. I'll admit, like, some of it's my expensive taste.
Yeah.
Some of it is the fact that I have to fill up my tank usually 2.5 times, basically. I have a small tank, so that's what happens there, and, that's $80 by itself, and then, I'm up here. It's still, like, it's at least $100 every time, even if I'm stingy.
Damn.
So it's not, and it takes a lot of time. So it's not. Oh, also my car is leaking oil like crazy, so I have to put a new quart of oil every time I come up here.
Really? Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah. I'm waiting for that car to like burn up in a fiery pit of hell. But yeah, it's costing me a lot of money, so I just like. Look, man, I'm not going to go up there anymore unless I have 2 shows or more to do. So this one had to wait until I had Godzilla come at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's why this is so late. Sorry, it would have been about 3 weeks ago, I guess.
Yeah, I wanted to go through on hard again just to honor the tradition of what we did for 7 Remake, where we played it on both difficulties. Mm-hmm. It's definitely hard. That first fight against like the 2 wolf dudes, when you find that like rejected specimen guy who's getting like torn up by him. I died like 12 times in a row on hard because I forgot how to play.
The game, I mean, this is kind of a harder... The game doesn't... It starts you not easy. Like, it's just like, it throws you in like you just finished playing the main game on hard.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're like, yeah, I'll play a Yuffie underpowered.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
And she's got a totally different play style, like with the magic versus physical, and then like, because if you throw your little shuriken around, and then it'll like stay in the person.
I love that.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
But when you do that, if you don't warp to them, you then start casting magic. And I forgot about all of that when I went back in. And I was like, I was getting mad. I was like, all I want to do is play the fucking minigame. I don't want to deal with these stupid wolves or this like retarded guy that got, too much Mako up his ass. And now he's just talking about his family reunion where he can fuck his cousin again. Like, I don't care about any of this. I just want to get into the city and play the fucking game, man. I want to play the thing. And I was dying like forever.
So, development of Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. So, I'll talk about the whole update first. It's a re-release of Final Fantasy VII Remake, which was announced in February 25th, 2021, State of Play, digital live stream, and then it was released in June of this year. June 10th, exclusively for PlayStation 5. What can I say? We have the best listeners in the world. Skull Hottie, got on the list thing, and I paid him for, at list price. I paid him for the PS5, and he shipped it to me. So, thank you, Skull Hottie.
Yeah.
For that, so that we were able to play this thing. This game features various improvements and new bosses, as well as an additional episode focusing on Yuffie, not called episode Yuffie like we've been calling it for months, but rather called episode INTERmission. All caps on the Inter.
Yeah, very aggressive.
Yes. So, according to Tetsuya Nomura, the title was chosen because integrate, I guess, means both middle and to move. And this remake, Intergrade, serves as a midpoint between the first and second installments of FF7 Remake, as well as a move from one system to another.
I don't know if intergrade means in between. Inter means in between.
Yeah, inside.
Or in
grade is. Thank you very
you.
much for the subscribe. No, I think he's right. To grade up.
Yeah, upgrade.
Yeah.
It kind of works, but
it works. But you can't call one intergrade and one intermission. That pisses me off.
Yeah, that's they're too close.
Intergrade, intermission, and be like, where's episode Yuffie? I keep on trying to download episode Yuffie. Here's an art book.
Yeah. Oh, I got the Yuffie art book?
Yeah, so these changes include higher quality textures, lighting, volumetric fog, and background details. I don't know what those are. 2 different display modes, which includes one for 4K resolution, and also a performance mode, which prioritizes 60 frames per second display.
Nice.
And it takes advantage of the DualSense controller with all the haptic feedback. I don't know what haptic feedback is. I'll be honest there. I'm reading off of a list. Do you know what haptic feedback is?
No.
Okay,
I assume it's how the controller kind of interacts with you a little bit more than the PlayStation 4 controller. Like when we were playing Resident Evil and you scope in and it kind of tugs on when you would pull back, it would kind of tighten the controller. I think maybe it's something like that. Maybe it's a little more interactive. Honestly, though, I thought about it and I was like, if I was playing Call of Duty, I would turn the shit way off. Because it's it gives you resistance to you pulling the trigger. And I'm like, no. I don't know what the fuck Euphies would do for that, but
it has a new enhanced photo mode. Basically, you can move the the camera around. You're pausing the whole game, and you move the camera around to find the good spot for the camera.
Yeah,
and you can do it in cutscenes, I guess.
Yeah, how much do you care about photo modes?
Never once, unless something zany happens on screen, and I can do the PS4 share and be like, "Look at this glitch in Conan."
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at his arm is his head is coming out of his armpit. Look at that! It's hilarious.
That's true. Yeah.
And then I'll save that and probably post it to Twitter or something like that. Yeah. Sometimes I care.
Yeah.
It's never cool enough to be like, oh yeah.
Art.
Yeah, look at how good it looks. I I mean, I
Yeah.
like photos in real life. I take them all the time. But
Yeah, but people getting excited over a photo mode is weird to me. But
I don't
there
know if
are
anybody
those.
got excited, but they added that. New difficulty available in classic mode. There's a new super boss battle against Weiss. Materia, synergy materia, I guess changed around. Cooldown times of ATB boost materia are halved. Parry can now be canceled into and out of faster. Braver deals more damage. Infinity's End deals more damage. Point Blank's explosion for the delay is stronger. And gets about 50% more total damage than Maximum Fury. So that was improved. Overpower can now be used directly after an uppercut. Like, all these are just like quality of life improvements with the battle. Wind spells now stick to enemies. Limit breaks use grants temporary invulnerability.
Oh yeah,
That
people
would have been nice.
Yeah. I can't remember. Did it use the break if you died while you were using it? Like, did it use up the bar? I don't think it did, but
I can't remember if it used up the bar, but I do remember getting interrupted in a limit break.
dying.
Dying.
Yeah, that fucking sucked.
Some like one soundtrack piece was altered, I guess, in one of the earlier spots. But yeah, that's a whole bunch of stuff, and then we get this extra bonus story, which I'll pretty short kind of story deal. It's just about Yuffie. It now kind of like, obviously they planned something, because here's the deal, like, although they're not, none of this is actually like that filled out, because there's some threads that they've decided to open that we now don't have answers to. And not only that, for a first-time player, never played the original, thinking they're just playing a remake of the old game, and maybe they just don't want to play the Popeye art thing. Final Fantasy VII Remake is not actually a remake of FF7. Not in the pure sense of a remake, anyway.
Yeah, not how you think it is.
Not how a remake should be.
Yeah.
But it is... it's kind of more of like a reimagining, but also a meta connection to the original. If you haven't played FF7 Remake, I don't know why you're listening to this episode anyway. I will save Schweiss the very last thing that happens in this thing, because I know a lot of people might not have PS5s yet, and they're probably not going to know what happens. I'm pretty sure they're not going to want to know what happens at the very end of this thing.
At the very, very, very end?
Oh, I'm sorry. Very, very, very end of hard mode, which I never saw and had to look up on YouTube end.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Shit. It's going to be really hard not to talk about it. We'll just have to have like a cutoff
And say, all right,
and
don't
talk
listen.
about spoilers for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to try not to talk about spoilers until
I honestly
we get
don't
to that
even
moment.
remember what it was, if I'm going to be honest.
Okay, well-
Someone sent me the video, and then I watched it, and then I just threw it away.
I watched it and I got mad a little bit. But then not. I'm like, oh, how are they going to... Okay. All right.
Don't worry about it.
So this thing's like... if you don't do the mini games, it's like 4 hours long, maybe.
Yeah, if you do them, it's like 12, but...
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna... I definitely want to return. Because I haven't platinumed it yet, I'll be honest. So
Did you upgrade your PS4 to your PS5 version of 7, though? Did you get that free platinum?
yeah, I got
That
all
was pretty sweet.
Oh yeah, I got the 20 minutes where I just had to wait, wait for all the trophies to go through.
In that time, I decided that I don't like the new trophy sound as much. It's kind of like subdued.
It's not the Chinese water torture of listening to 45 trophies.
I've noticed over time, like
I really don't like that sound for some reason. Eh?
yeah, it started to piss me off. God, it just won't stop. Yeah, that was cool, but yeah, no, I didn't 100% it either. I wish I would have, but
So, shortly after the bombing of Mako Reactor 5, Yuffie, who is like 15 years old, I think, a ninja working for Wutai, which is another country that they've kind of explained, kind of didn't while they were doing this. Obviously, we know because we played 7. Arrives at Midgar and meets up with her partner, Sonnen. Sonin, I don't remember how they actually pronounce it in the game, in order to steal an ultimate materia that they've heard that Shinra has. So she's dressed out as a Moogle just to make me sick to my stomach as soon as the game starts.
Just to remind you just exactly what kind of game you're playing.
It's like, you're playing a Final Fantasy, aren't you? Aren't you?
Aren't you, you little loser?
So she's in a Moogle costume, and all I thought of, like, is just thinking about my dad seeing the kid in FF7 Remake who's also dressed as a Moogle, and him like walking into the living room when I was playing it when we were all in quarantine, obviously, and he just like looking at it, and just like shook his head and walked out the back door.
What am I gonna do with that boy?
It's like, oh my gosh. I think that's what he said under his breath. I can't remember. She is grossed out by the city. Like, it's smelly and there's too many people, basically. It's this is not as good as Wu Tai. And she's looking for Sanin or Sonnen. Sanendorf. We learned that, like, she's part of Avalanche. And we find out that actually, like, the Barrett, because they see Barrett and Aerith and everybody from a distance, and they figure that, like, they're probably the ones who did the explosion.
Yeah, because they're the least incognito of all time.
Yeah, and also the fact that, like, they're too extreme for their terrorist group of Avalanche. That other terrorist group of Avalanche is like, they branched off. So Barrett's talking about Avalanche all the time, but Barrett's not actually part of Avalanche. That's what we find out in this thing, which I thought was interesting.
He was too hardcore for the terrorist group.
Too hardcore. So you could say that this is Al Qaeda and that Barrett is leading ISIS, or a proto progenitor of ISIS or something. I don't know.
Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah, like a pro-Green Party ISIS.
Yeah. It's like, at the end of the day, they're all terrorists, but there's some that are more terror than ist.
That one's more terror.
Yeah.
That one's terror.
They're really scary. They're scary to the scary people.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was interesting. Because I always thought it was weird in the remake where they were like, oh, yeah, it's a huge thing. And I was like, really? I always thought it was this, like, stupid, club that you guys had that was, like, 10 people strong. And then I was like, how the fuck can you have a massive organization? And apparently they can't, because they got kicked out, so.
Well, Barrett's mass takes up for a few other people, I'm sure.
I know, yeah. That's why it's like, maybe that's why they had to kick him out, because he never shuts up about it. He's like yelling about all the stuff, and he's huge. So he's like obvious.
He's always having that that steroid rage.
Yeah.
He can't quite sit still at a meeting or something.
Yeah.
Oh god. All right. So they have to wait for Sana to arrive, and while you wait for Sana to arrive after you like meet up with the other Avalanche members, you go around town and do extra quests for like 1,900 hours, and even though you were like, I need to beat this in 2 days, which we both had like the same experience where it was like, oh fuck, I want to do all the shit right now.
Yeah.
So you're just walking around like the Sector 5 slums. Is that the right sector? I don't fucking know. Cloud and
5,
everybody.
7.
I think it's 5.
One of them.
Yeah, there's a mini game where you're getting like a turtle song thing, and you're collecting all that. I remember that. I'm not remembering that right.
No, it's the Happy Turtle is what it's called. It's like a restaurant, and you find the guy that like owns it. You have to go around town and like find posters for the Happy Turtle.
Oh, it's the posters for the Happy Turtle. But while you're finding posters, of course, there's like enemies in the way or something like that you have to fight, or it's in like a really bizarre spot or something like that.
Yeah.
And they have different songs that are all this horrendous theme song for the Happy Turtle.
Yeah, it's like different genres.
Restaurant, something the Happy Turtle, and like the little like ending jingle of the main one plays through your PS5 controller every time you pick up one of the posters as well.
Yeah.
Which is an extra little, but I will say, like, the Pantera Happy Turtle, the Pantera Lamb of God one, the remix. That one smacks pretty good.
Yeah, yeah, that one's pretty sweet.
It's you're doing that, going around town collecting shit, and then the game,
the real game,
the reason why you should get this thing is because now look, Fort Condor was probably the worst part about the original FF7.
Yeah,
still never figured it out ever. Always lost it. Never understood how to win that fucking thing. Don't know if anybody actually has. They'd be a liar if they told me they did. And Fort Condor, the minigame, is one of the greatest minigames in all of Final Fantasy. And it was addicting as shit.
Yeah.
Addicting. I had to go through it. I had to beat everybody on the original mode before I was like happy to like continue on. I couldn't. Like the game story halted so that I could play that fucking game, that mini game, with all the people in the fucking town that were willing to play it with me.
Yeah, it's funny because we had the exact same experience with the Fort Condor game because. Yeah, I agree with you. The original Fort Condor kind of sucks. And it doesn't really make sense. It's like Shinra just endlessly attacking this fort. Why? Like, why are they just attacking this one spot? And how have they not just completely overrun it up to this point? Logistically, when you think about it, it doesn't really make any sense. It's just a way to shoehorn a minigame in.
Yeah.
But in this, it's like a board game. It's like a tabletop. And it's like a tabletop, like MOBA kind of tower defense setup in the game where you get like it's kind of like a mix between it's like a MOBA deck building kind of game where you unlock
it's like a MOBA mixed with that tower defense game we played, the Final Fantasy.
Oh, the Dark Lord.
My Life as a Dark Lord. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit of that where you like have a couple different pieces you can have, and then you can like pick your magic card mat, and it has like little boosts on there, and yeah, you have your towers, and the other guys are trying to get to your towers, and while that's happening, you have an ATB bar that kind of fills up, and the speed on that depends on kind of what you have, and like you have guys that pop up that you can finally summon, and then you summon those guys, and then you're trying to counteract, and there's just a triangular system of weaknesses basically that you can counteract with, and it's really, really simple and really awesome. And just I have a few hours in that thing.
Yeah, and the opponents get progressively harder as you go along, and then Chadley, the fucking robot, is the final boss of the minigame. He's actually pretty fucking hard.
He's pretty tough. He's pretty tough. That took me... I think that's when I had to pause the game and then like play it the next day, basically.
Yeah, it took like a good hour and a half or so to beat him.
Yeah.
And the way you beat it in the original one in normal mode is, at least the way I beat it, is you have like your two towers, and then you have your main little Nexus thing, or whatever they call it in this. That's what they call it in League of Legends. That's what I'm going to call it. And the objective is to destroy their main base, but if the time runs out, it goes to whoever has one of the like towers, or whoever has the most towers destroyed. And so the way I won was I just had like enough RNG built up that I was able to just completely bum rush one tower and then like barely hold off him blowing up one of my towers. So I just won by default. And it was very close every time. It's brutal. But yeah, that's the actual game. That's the funnest part of this whole experience is the Fort Condor. It's great.
Yep, it's really good. And then you can kind of be like, oh, I guess I have to keep on playing the story. I guess I'll continue. And this is what they have to go get ID cards to get into the Shinra headquarters. And on their way to getting the ID cards, Neo, which is one of the women who's part of the avalanche.
Oh yeah, the
cell.
super hot one.
Oh yeah, the one that's basically all of my fetishes rolled into one.
Yeah, a Degolier fetish burrito.
Degolier fetish burrito.
Yeah.
Wow.
Delicious.
Yeah, and they think so too. That's why they try to kidnap her and make her one of Don Corneo's girls. And Yuffie's like kind of jealous, but of course she's like a gangly teenage girl, and so like she gets like mad, and starts like fighting them, and you defeat those guys basically, and that's like a little mini thing. Yeah, you go into Shinra's headquarters. Notice that my iPad autocorrected it to Shinto headquarters.
Oh, nice.
Because it was like, what the fuck is Shinra, you idiot? Thank you, iPad. You've been making me look like an idiot constantly. Every time I text in Facebook now, there's a mistake in there all the time. And I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck? You autocorrect bastard. I switched over to Apple, and Apple's so strict.
Yeah, they don't fuck around.
Yeah, like Android's like, fine, you've made up this word 12 times. I guess I'll let you say the F word. But Apple's like, no, that's not a word.
Yeah,
We're gonna correct it to this, and you have to press this button real quick before that happens, or else it's gonna stay that way, and you can't revert.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's like you're fucking writing on stone slabs. The older day, like, fuck, I missed a letter.
So you're immediately found out by Jesse, who I put the nationalist Jesse, and who like she starts like basically saying some nasty things about people from Wutai.
Yeah.
And then she kind of puts you through a gauntlet. And that's like the second half of the game is you just going through Shinra headquarters as she wails at you with a whole bunch of different like monsters and stuff. Only to find that, of course, the materia, they're still working on it. It's not finished, so there's nothing to actually steal. And the final boss of this thing, and here's your first spoiler alert, is Nero from Dirge of Cerberus.
Yeah.
Who I barely remembered, like, existing. And I had to go, when I was like, where's this from? Is this from Crisis Core? Is this from Dirge? Like, this guy? And Choice was like, oh, it's Dirge of Cerberus. Like, okay, the game I played in one day.
Yeah.
So I went back and listened to our episode. Hardly ever mentioned him. We're like, this guy and his brother. And the brother was Nero.
Yeah.
So we hardly ever even talked about Nero. So I honestly don't remember him, like, what his character significance is. But in this, he's like this weird dark forcey sort of guy that's in like another dimension almost. And he's, like dark and foreboding. And
yeah. I didn't like Dirge, so I felt like Dirge was kind of like a betrayal to 7. But I feel like Crisis Core might be more of a betrayal, honestly, as time goes on. Because Dirge is like, it's like retcon, like the 2 different retcons that we discussed. Like Dirge is like a harmless bullshit retcon.
No one gives
like
a shit about any of these characters.
Yeah,
kind of retcon.
Yeah, but like Crisis is like a retcon that like harms the original material, whereas Dirge, it doesn't necessarily have to. And so, in a way, one is more infuriating than the other.
Well, this isn't Dirge. It's just a guy from Dirge.
Yeah.
But Dirge doesn't exist in this universe, Schweiss.
Yeah.
This is or it does in another universe but they fought against fate, and so therefore where are we? When is time? What is happening?
Thank God.
Who knows?
Killing fate killed Dirge of Cerberus, but sadly it still exists in our world.
Sadly, Crisis Core would still exist, right?
Yeah, Crisis.
Because it came to pass before they changed the fate.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, unless they remake Crisis Core.
Well,
or they roll Crisis Core into this, which of course, no one actually has any answers. Everything is speculation. Don't you dare fucking say that there's an answer out there, because it's not fucking true. I already looked this shit up.
I think they're gonna, well, they're not gonna remake Crisis Core, and they're not gonna remake Dirge. The reason why they're not gonna remake Crisis Core is because they made the absolutely ridiculous decision to put an actual person in the fucking game, and that person is
not
named.
Get his life rights for it.
And yeah, they didn't steal his existence from him, which is another dumb move. And he's got all this music and all this stuff. There's like copyright problems because Sony owns this guy's copyright and like a bunch of the tracks, and like it's a really stupid idea. Don't do this ever. Don't
we
put,
have
like, an
contracts that
artist-
are like, yeah, we use your images for the movie for basically anything for time and all eternity.
Yeah.
That's what's in the contract, basically. So I don't know what's going on in Japan where they're like, music contracts are just like, oh, you can use it for this.
Yeah.
This very specific thing. But if you use it for anything else, I'm going to fuck you. Like, Jesus, like, if you want the thing in the game, well, then we might keep on reprinting the game and like
altering it. And yeah.
Maybe just ask for more money if that's really that important to you. But
so the copyright issue is there, and then I've been thinking about this. I think they're going to just roll in all the story elements from Dirge, from Crisis. They've already done it for that goddamn Turks, The Kids Are All Right book. I think they're just going to roll the entire 7 universe into a Joe unfetish burrito. Everything you don't like about Final Fantasy VII's extended universe.
Well, I really like FF7 Remake, so I'm
I
just
think
hoping to God that however they do it, it works out. The only problem, like the only major problem I have with FF7 Remake, and most people would consider this a small thing, is the fact that there's just suddenly a cat in one of the cutscenes. And I don't understand why the fuck there's like suddenly a cat who's like looking at the world and going, "Oh my god!" when we have so many named characters that could be looking at like, what is that cat creature? I don't understand it.
Yeah,
out of context.
I think that's what they're gonna do, and I think it's gonna work out okay because they've already put things in here that I didn't like before, and I don't dislike it now. Okay. So I think the problem before might be that 7's original translation fucking sucks. And there's a lot of like things that we
had that
happened.
Interview from quite a while ago that you guys should go check out, where the guy talks about differences in the 2 different versions.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of holes in original 7, and so that makes the subsequent 7 verse kind of seem ridiculous. And I don't think it was supposed to be as ridiculous. And like the remake, bringing all of the content from those other things, like the Dirge and then like the Crisis Core stuff. Not that I like that part in this, but and then also the Turks atrocity book.
Turks, the atrocious kids are not good.
Not good. The kids are going down the Shinra slide,
which
again.
We've heard is much better in the official translation, which I'm sure it's a better experience.
Yeah, but guys, I'm not going to read it, honestly.
No, we already fucking read it.
Yeah.
We just read like a horrible
Turks, the kids are all
like, even when we were just talking about the story, though, I mean, when we were talking about when we reviewed the game, it's like, story's not good either. It's not like it changed.
Yeah. But I mean, it's working in this remake, so I like what they're doing with it. So that's part of my theory is they're just going to roll all of the 7 verse into these remakes, and that's going to add. But I think they might do it in DLCs though. Like I think they're going to do another DLC for Vincent, and that might go into the Dirge stuff. That's what my theory is now.
We'll see where we are in 5 years when people dig up this episode and be like, oh, you guys said stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Because you didn't know the future.
Yeah. I think that would be the best approach, though, is just to roll everything into the remakes. I also don't think they're going to kill Aerith. I think she's going to survive. And I think it's going to be one of those things where...
They kill Tifa instead?
Maybe. I don't know about Tifa, but I think...
Well, remember, they defied fate, so everything that happens from now on, is a totally new world, is what the end of the game is saying. So
yeah, so I don't...
FF7 is just being, like, remixed.
Yeah, I don't think she's going to die. I think it's going to be, like, a big fan pleaser... Because, there's all those people that, like, tried to glitch the game and
what
find
if it
later.
actually, like, you could choose... Or like what you do in the game in the next installment, like
if she dies or not.
Yeah, or if you play on normal versus hard mode.
Yeah, or if like it's like the date thing in the original game, like it might actually just be Barrett that dies or somebody else, like who you bring on the date and the gold saucer.
Oh,
based on your affinity.
That'd be so sad.
Yeah, you're like, oh no, Barrett, come on.
No. So anyway, Nero goes there. It's a big ass fight, and then another spoiler for the thing itself is that the brother dies, or not the brother, the guy she's working with dies, who I thought was the brother almost the entire time, as like sacrifice, and then she leaves, and then she sees the atrocity before her, and then the episode ends. So it's a real quick kind of. It's real quick if you don't play Fort Condor for 16 hours.
Yeah.
But I genuinely was along for it. I enjoyed what I was playing, so I liked it.
What you think of those? What you think of the chow beans they had?
The chow beans.
The chow, yeah, those.
The chow.
You remember those? Where she like meets the Shinra guys, and she like pops out these like fucking coffee beans that they eat over in Wutai. And then everybody like pops them in their mouth, and it like shatters their jaws, basically.
I didn't understand what was. Okay, I don't remember that at all.
Oh,
dude.
really?
Yeah,
it's really weird. But I was thinking this earlier. I was like, man, how cool would it have been if they came up with like a Yuffie nutcracker? You know what I mean? Because like she's able to crack those crazy DeChow things. You get like the $300 version of this game, and it's like a nice, high quality wooden Yuffie nutcracker. You just put your walnuts.
I'll have to watch for that scene when I replay this on hard. And please forgive me, guys. Like the campaign, the cutscenes put together, I think are like 40 minutes, and we played it like a month and a half ago. So I'm sorry, I forgot the nut scene.
That's all right.
To be honest.
It's one of those really awkward, like, kind of cringy moments. But
and here's the scene that you forgot. And I wasn't sure if I just skipped through this because I pressed X at the end when it was, like, the credits.
Yeah.
Went to the main menu. Or if this is something that's opened at the end of hard mode, which is what I would guess.
I don't know either.
But there is a post-credit scene that, real big spoilers here, has Zack looking for Aerith at the church. And she's gone. So Zack, and it seems like it's a current timeline. It seems like Zack is alive.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no one actually knows.
It does seem like
that. So that was a
that.
very interesting little twist of a post-credit scene.
Yeah. I know there's a scene in Crisis Core where he goes there and she's gone, but that's Crisis Core is supposed to happen like all before 7, essentially. So I don't know if he must be alive then. He must be alive. That's the only thing I can.
So when they defied fate, how the fuck did he just pop back into existence is my question. Or when they were talking about, or was it him that was fucking with time? Because remember, we have this question about like who started this shit.
Yeah.
Because we don't know, right? We only talked about this for 5 hours on the last FF7 Remake episode. But that question is still out there, basically. And was it Zack? Was it someone else that's fucking with it? Now, they have obviously defied fate from the Dementors that were controlling time for some reason. So I don't know when, where, and maybe he's alive in the current timeline, like post the end of FF7 Remake Part 1. And if so, that means someone fucked with some shit because he's not supposed to be alive, which I think is obviously what they're saying. And we're all going like, what?
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all you can think about that.
So like,
what's going on? I don't know.
So, I mean, yeah, based on how this time fuckery works, is he like getting cuckolded by Cloud? I mean, I don't know. Does Cloud, because the question is, does Cloud know that Zack is dead? And we don't know. I don't think we know from the cutscenes that I've seen. We had that one at the end of the 7 remake where like Zack kind of comes into existence and Cloud sees him.
Yeah,
but that doesn't really explain.
Like it was crossing through time.
Yeah,
or maybe that was in Cloud's head, but obviously it's not in Cloud's head because we're seeing it in this cutscene here.
So, like, does that retroactively change Cloud's memory of Zack dying to save him? Like, what exactly does this all mean? Yeah, it's
no idea.
It's really I don't get it.
Did he come out of his mind?
Yeah.
Do you remember that part in FF7 where Tifa's like in Cloud's head? Well, maybe it's like Can you pull someone out of that? I don't know.
Yeah, there's
guess-
like essence.
Gets coming out of the live stream or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to work out.
No idea.
The most, I guess, the easiest explanation would be that with this new timeline, Zack is alive, but Zack was dead before. I think that's the only thing that kind of makes sense. Or else Cloud, like the weird thing is, like, what would go on with Cloud? Like, does he can't be at this place that he's at without Zack having died
Right.
to save him earlier.
Yeah.
But if that doesn't happen, then how does he end up where he's at? And like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna answer this.
There's only more questions posed. There are no answers given in episode Yuffie.
Not at all. Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed the gameplay as well, which is basically those mini games, those little extra pickup quests you can do, and the actual battle system, which is still great. It's just the Yuffie version of it, which I think you kind of described earlier. She's a lot of fun to play. All the characters in the FF7 remake have been. I'm waiting for that Vincent, I guess, in part 2.
Yeah. See how fun it is to not control anything.
Unless, like, well, what's the next place they go? Is it the mansion or is it Cosmo Canyon? What if the whole next game just takes place in Cosmo Canyon?
God, that would be too much.
For 60 hours. Part 2, Cosmo Canyon.
Yeah, that would be maddening. I think I'd probably get tired of the song. I wonder, though.
You'd also be like, are you ever going to make another Final Fantasy game? Or
we're just going to fucking sit here and
piecemeal FF7 out till the end of
20
time.
Years. Yeah. I was thinking this.
Then the real Fort Condor.
Yeah.
Another 60 hours. Yeah. The entire next FF7 remake, part 3, takes place entirely in Fort Condor. I guess that'd be like part 4. I'm trying to think of the timeline of the game.
Yeah.
Do you go to Shinra Mansion next? I don't remember.
I think so.
Okay, so it'd be Shinra Mansion would be part 3, which I could feel like they could probably push the limits of their storytelling ability in one house.
Yeah, I mean, Resident Evil 1 takes place in one mansion.
Yeah.
The whole game.
There you go.
They could do it for Final Fantasy. Just make it like a really big mansion.
I do want it to be clear that I don't want them to do that.
No. I wonder, though, level cap. Level cap is 50. Level cap for A Realm Reborn is also 50. So are we to assume each DLC gives us 10 more levels? Just like each fucking expansion to 14 gives us 10 more?
Oh, God, no.
So that means we're going to have 5 parts to this fucking game?
Oh. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the entire next game is taking place at Cosmo Canyon. And then we'll just be seeing, like, Zack. He's, like, starting a whole new life somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's like, I guess she left.
Yeah, he just does something completely different.
The music and the design, obviously the game is using the same everything that the original game did.
It looks really good on the PS5.
Looks good.
I honestly don't know if it looks better on the 5 than it did on the 4. I didn't go back and look, but it looks really good. But it looked really good before. So.
It did. Yeah.
I don't know.
Pretty good. Just made on Unreal kind of game. The Happy Turtle song was the only music I really remember from the game.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it was like, I mean, I have the soundtrack. I guess I can go delve in. But that was the only thing that kind of like stood out to me. And I just liked the music of the remake anyway, and it continued that, and so I enjoyed that. I put Yuffie Combat. Oh, so the other thing about gameplay was there's a combat simulator, which I caught my ass destroyed immediately in, and I was like, you know what? I'll wait. I'll wait. I'll grind a little bit and wait till I get the game back from Schweiss, my PS5.
Get his PS5 back.
And be able to play it on hard mode or whatever. And then I guess there's a game called Boxbuster, which I didn't even see. So you're going to have to explain that.
So in the Shinra, like when you're infiltrating to get, and you called her Jessie earlier. You said it was Jessie, but it's the red chick. It's Scarlet.
Scarlet. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're gonna run out of red
Whoops.
names because I remember the one thing in.
I meant Scarlet.
They're gonna run out of color names because if you remember that in Dirge of Cerberus, like everybody has like a fucking name based on like a color, and there's another one that has like a red name. I can't remember what her name is, but
Vincent Valentina.
Yeah. No, they're like Weiss.
Violet Valentine.
And then it was the little girl, I think, had like a name that was red. It was something red. So we're going to have...
It's not Rojo. It's Azul?
Azul, yeah. There's Azul as one of the people
Azul.
in the game, yeah.
That's
We're
right.
going to run out of like the whole spectrum of colors will be utilized in this game. When you're in that building, there's like a little path off to the side, and it's a combat, or it's a simulator of boxes, and it's like the Cloud box mini game, but way harder, and it takes way longer because you have boxes. And I didn't notice this because I'm an idiot. I don't know what my problem is, but like my ability to just pay attention sometimes. It's not like ADD, but it's like it's the details. It's the details because like there's a box. There's two different types of boxes in here. One of them has like a sword on it, and then one of them has like this magical symbol on it. And I'm just
what
in
could
there.
that possibly be?
I'm just in there fucking pounding them all with my fists, like, yeah, we're gonna do this. And I'm like, man, this is a really, really hard mini game. Like I'm not even halfway done. The high score is ridiculous. And then I finally look and I'm like, oh, those need to be hit with magic, and these need to be hit with physical attacks. So I started doing it the correct way. But dude, I spent hours on this. And I was like, okay, I need to beat 7 Remake tonight and start Resident Evil 8 because I was borrowing Joe's PS5, and he needed to do the same thing, where he needed both of those games done after me because I wanted it first. I don't remember why.
There was only one PS5 at the time.
And so one of us was going to get it, and I didn't finish the fucking 7 Remake when I was supposed to give it back to him for him to do the 7 Remake, and then we could do Resi 8.
The reason was because the last time I played a Resident Evil game, I got fucked.
Yeah.
And this was going to be the first Resident Evil game I had to beat for the show, and I was like, you need to give me some extra time. You need to beat that thing first.
Yeah. Now, of course, I got drawn into the minigame and spent way too long doing that.
Yeah.
I did beat it that night, I think. Yeah, no, it was I stayed up fucking late, but I beat it and then I started Resident Evil 8, so I did. But it took me a long time to get this fucking box minigame done. And it's like the Cloud box buster, but just harder, pretty much. And you got to like get your shit down. And the targeting in it, oh my god, it's so frustrating because like you'll blow up a few boxes and then you'll like kind of auto target, and sometimes it'll auto target the right one and sometimes it won't. And so like I'll be pounding the physical box with like magic, and then I have to like stop and then launch myself at it and then blow it up and then start hitting the right ones. But eventually I was able to do it. You have to destroy every single box on the map, it's pretty rough. And there's like time increase boxes just like there was in the Cloud one.
Oh, wow.
And you can use like your
she doesn't have quite the spread that Cloud does either with her hits.
Yeah, but there's a couple moves that are pretty sick.
Okay.
That do like massive AoE. So when you're doing it, you can kind of figure out how to knock it out. And you got to kind of utilize your limit breaks. Like right when it fills up to 2 bars, you got to use it and just blow something up, and then go back to doing the basic attacks and the magic attacks. So it's a bit of a chore, but I did that one too. Yeah, really, the mini games. It took me as long as the fucking main game did to play this thing. Like they're pretty extensive. And then I actually went back and played hard mode, like I said earlier, up to the point of playing Fort Condor, and then I just played Fort Condor. Because that's all I wanted to do.
It should be called Episode Fort Condor.
Yeah. It's pretty fun, man. It's like ridiculously fun for a mini game.
It's stupidly fun. Yeah, it is. So I did ask you guys if you wanted to send in your reviews and questions. We have one in the Twitch chat, which is from Brulo. Did this game and all recent FF games suffer from the comprehensible lack of Coleman and Cup Noodle, the ultimate flavor experience? Clearly, yeah, no Cup Noodle. Cup Noodle would have made me pretty happy. Coleman,
Yeah, Coleman, it's not a bad brand, but it's just like, I don't know. Like, there's better stuff.
I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about other brands now.
Yeah.
I work for an outdoor company now.
Yeah. Well, you know what I mean.
We make outdoor equipment. I don't know if I could talk about our competitors in any positive way.
Yeah. It's just like, it's not bad, but it's not that good. You know, it's like I don't know. It's not specialty. So.
Yeah. Do you know if we got an email or anything, or is it just Discord?
I'll double check it.
Okay. So Frost gives us a review. Jesus Christ, I can't talk today. Having done everything except the Weiss fight, I can say that this was really well done. At first, I was annoyed by the introduction of Fort Condor and the stupid turtle flyers, but they're not much worse than the side quest from Chapter 3 in the main game. You mean that Fort Condor is the best thing you've ever played, ever? I don't like your tone here, sir. Okay, I still hate Yuffie's Moogle outfit, so do I. But the moment where she finally gives her speech and tosses it aside was really well done. Her character felt pretty faithful to the original, super cocky on the outside with her actual self, doubt bubbling up now and then. Sonnen does a great job as the straight man. Overall, an experience I didn't mind playing through twice for the hard mode trophies. The dialogue felt like it struck the correct balance of silly and serious for this type of game. The combat was fluid, a much better version of Noctis, and not being a much better version of Noctis. What? Oh, she is a much better version of Noctis. I was like combat.
Oh.
I was like, what the fuck? There's no Noctis in this game.
Yeah.
All right.
They haven't gone that far.
All right. Well, I just can't read it.
Oh, man, what if they break the time frame and then all of the...
Oh, shit.
And then, at the end, they announce
Final Fantasy remake.
Yeah, and then they announce a Dissidia game based on this storyline. Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 4, Dissidia.
Oh, no.
Dissidia.
Yeah.
Not being able to control Sonnen never felt like a deterrent because the AI actually did a decent job. The end boss on normal was probably what gave me the most trouble. It was easier on hard because I had leveled up my characters and materia. Okay, I don't even think I had any problems. Looks like the battery's low in the laptop. Having Scarlet be the main antagonist was also a good choice since we barely got any of her in the main game, and she's hilarious, chewing the scenery whenever she's on screen. I'm a bit dubious as to the choice to introduce Weiss and Nero, but at least we've confirmed that they're throwing everything from the series into FF7R. As far as trophies go, the hard mode battle simulator fight wasn't so bad, and the only thing that really felt unfair was the 50,000 points in box smashing.
It's very unfair.
The after credits stinger left more questions than answers. My biggest one: if these are happening in the same time, dimension, timeline, whatever, are there two clouds? Anyway, it's certainly worth the $20, but I wouldn't be going crazy over it if I couldn't get my hands on a PS5. Or you can pay $60 and get the artwork and the soundtrack as well.
Yeah, no
like
bundle. No bundle, just separate purchases.
You want to read Abrax?
Yeah. Abrax says, I loved it. They made Yuffie into an actual character, and she's extremely fun to play as. Excited for her to join up with the main group. Yeah, I'm excited to put her in the bench once she joins up to the main group, as always.
As per usual.
Hopefully they put in a bunch of sick team-up attacks like she had with Sonnen. Fort Condor is a massive improvement over the original minigame and pretty addicting. I hope it sticks around. I haven't played Dirge, so I don't have any reference to Nero or Weiss. I think they work fine as random boss fights. Shinra basement freaks, powerful evil dudes who've been experimented on. Hope we don't need to learn much more than that. Oh, I'm sure we will. Overall, gameplay and music are fantastic. Story is fine as a meanwhile, this also happened thing to set up a new character. Can't wait to find out what the fuck is going on with Zack and the timeline shenanigans in Part 2.
All right. I thought Intermission was amazing, and it just makes me more excited to play Part 2 of the remake. This is from Aim Pine, sorry. I think they have figured out how to fix aerial combat. I thought trying to smash a difficult curve into a 2-chapter DLC was strange. After finishing the game, I felt like I just murdered boogaboos for 3 hours to max my levels and materia. Anyway, on to my question. How do you guys think they'll handle the actual Fort Condor location in Part 2 after making the minigame a board game here?
I think they get rid of it completely, and I think that's exactly what they should do.
Yeah.
I mean, how fucked up would that be?
Or they make it a better version of it, I guess. Yeah, it's almost like playing the game Fort Condor.
Yeah, it's like this fort of rebels that's constantly under attack, and this game company is like Hasbro Interactive is like, ha ha, losers.
Restrepo, the board game.
Yeah. Can you escape?
My God.
Yeah, it's like it seems kind of dark if it's still real. I don't think it's gonna be. I think
then the guys at the Restrepo base are just like playing the board game Restrepo in order to get some like ideas for how they're gonna defend their base from the Taliban.
Yeah.
I wonder if they will make it a battle coliseum like the one in Wall Market. That's what he was wondering. Would you want Fort Condor board game to continue through the rest of the game like this world's triple triad?
Hell yeah.
Honestly, yeah.
If they keep expanding and like making more stuff for it, yeah, I'd play it more.
I'd like to play it against other people online. I think that'd be sweet.
I think so too, yeah.
If you could replay the game with all 5 playable characters, who do you think you'd use the most? I always use Cloud the most.
Well, I mean, I would probably have my main party of Cloud,
Tifa, Barrett.
Yeah, Cloud, Barrett, and then a third rotating
slot based upon need.
Do
I need a lot of healing? Aerith.
Yeah. Based upon whether I want to play as Sid or Tifa.
Fair enough. I would give basically the same answer. After experiencing the Yuffie combat mechanics, what are your predictions for Red 13's playstyle? I don't know, they'll probably whip someone with his like tail.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Probably just like a close range melee fire mage guy. I don't know. That's going to be weird. Yeah. I wonder how they're going to handle that.
I don't know. So that's all the reviews and questions from our Discord. And we've stopped streaming now. So sorry, guys.
God
Hopefully you listened to you had time. It gave you warning.
I know. I didn't think the battery was that poor on this thing. But we're pretty much.
Well, we're streaming right now. Well, we were.
Yeah.
Looks like I'm not going to be uploading this video to YouTube. Which I forgot to do the last one.
You could always just pull the last little bit here and just put it at the end of the video, and then like as like a tapering off.
A black screen.
Yeah. Just like make it all nice and just. The more we talk about doing it on this, though, the weirder it becomes.
Anyway, overall thoughts.
I think it's a lot of fun.
I thought it was a lot of fun, too. Do you think it's worth $20?
I do. I think anyone that has a PS5 that thinks it's not worth $20 is crazy. I think you need to pick it up. It's worth it.
Or if you have a PS5 and you didn't ever buy this game, go to the store and buy the full version that has this in it.
Yeah.
Which is now at Walmart. I saw that the other day.
Yeah. Just go pick it all up if you haven't done 7 Remake at all. Might as well do the PS5 version. If you have a PS5.
Sorry for all the spoilers.
Yeah. Sorry, you already know everything, but... If you have a PS5, this is like a no-brainer. There's not that much for the PS5 right now. And if you're listening to a Final Fantasy podcast and you have a PS5, why would you not do it?
Some people haven't played 15, dude.
Yeah.
Some people haven't gotten a PS4. That's what, like, some people, like, in our audience, they're just, like, still in the PS3 days, basically. That kind of blew me away. I guess there's, like... PS4 doubles as a Blu-ray player, but now that everything's gone to streaming, it's like really only for games now. So for most people, unless you're like a movie collector like me, and then Blu-ray is very important. It's a real good time. It's a real good time, and I plan on spending even more time in it as soon as I get my PS5 back today. So,
yeah. There you go, man. Pick it up for real. It's worth it. And then you get the hard playthrough. You can do it all over again. The time is worth the money, I would say. Yep. The Fort Condor alone, I think, is worth it.
It's worth $20.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fucking good.
All right, guys. Our next game, full game, not little DLC bullshit, is Secrets of Evermore.
Is it Secrets, really?
Yeah, that's what
I've been calling it the wrong thing the whole time.
So have I. Well, not the whole time. There was a point where I figured it out, and I've been going back and forth. But Secrets of Evermore almost sounds like Secret of Mana, but it's not. It's a totally different game. this game is not available for anywhere unless you get a full-on cartridge, which we both have Retrons, and we're both going to be using that to play this game. And I have no knowledge of this game whatsoever, so it should be pretty fun to play. An old Square game. I believe it has Cecil in it. I believe that's why we're playing it. It's because it has a Final Fantasy character in it. And so I'm pretty sure we're going to have to like figure out how to get Cecil or find Cecil in order to make it like we're not just playing a game for no reason.
Justify it.
Yeah, justify it, you know. Not that we have to. We can do whatever the fuck we want. This is our show.
That's true. Yeah.
But yeah, stay tuned for that. And then after that, we'll be back into 14 in some way. I've been really having trouble playing Halo ODST online in campaign, and I'm like a little scared that the day I get that Final Fantasy 14 on my PC, maybe my hot spotting ain't gonna be enough.
Yeah.
But we'll find out.
You'd think ODST would be less taxing than 14. That's the thing that worries me.
The only difference is like I was able to play Halo multiplayer, but I didn't play with you guys multiplayer, like shooting each other. I played it online. So I think the weight of like all the processing wasn't on my internet. I think it was on the central sort of thing.
Yeah.
It was on their central servers. So
yeah.
My hypothesis is that because I'm not taxing, like my system's not taxing with your game or whatever like that it might be able to play okay. So everything else works okay, but
yeah. It sounds like that's probably going to be the case. I mean, the host is going to be Square Enix because they have their own servers and worlds and everything.
Yeah. So I just don't know. I don't know, but I hope. I dearly hope.
We'll have to see how that all works out. I mean, the sucky thing about 14 is it basically just turns into us like rushing through the campaign and then getting to dungeons at certain days and then spending that day doing that dungeon. And then we break off again and go fucking play it all alone.
Well, here's a possibility here, because then no one's going to be waiting for my laggy ass. Weekdays, we do the quest and we get to the new spot, and that's not really a rush. It's like a whole week to get to the next quest.
Yeah.
Next dungeon, and then on the dungeon, I bring the computer over and play it over here.
Yeah, we could probably work that.
Might be able to do that. Might not. Might be able to. But we'll see. I'm a little scared. We might have to push off 14 if like the connection's too bad, because I'm there for 6 months, or like 4 more months basically, at least. So I don't really have a choice as far as my internet is concerned. This was the best option I had. So
yeah. So if you loved the Mana Days or the last 2 sets of 14 days. Welcome home.
Thank you guys for listening. Join our Discord. You can follow us on Twitter, even though we hardly ever use it anymore. But I'm at Joseph DeGollier.
I'm at UFF Podcast.
Yeah, if you want to talk to us, the best way to talk to us is through Discord now, for sure. And come join the Discord. It's the Geekdom Entertainment Discord. So there's a whole bunch of people who like games and shit there. It's what they talk about usually.
Usually, yeah.
And then, well, shit, I think that's it. We'll see you guys next time.
Until then, enjoy the grind.